Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition on Dante Must Die difficulty. This is mission 20 of 20. It is the final mission, as that implies. And we are on the Sanctus boss fight. And we are once again fighting him with the protagonist, Lady. So, welcome to Hell on Earth. For a time, though. This took me 9, 10, 11, 4 hours. But during the first 2 hours, that was my struggling period. During the final 2 hours, that was my time to plateau and overcome this boss. And he really isn't any different than before. I think the reason is I was just trying to force the end like I usually do on this. And this is a remarkable performance on my part. However, that's not to brag. That is to say that it has to be remarkable, because if it isn't, you don't win. If you don't do very great evades, like beautiful evades where you're actually getting DT because you do it so close and so perfectly, you're not going to win either. So how this works is that he's got the same tells, he's got the same audio indicators of what he's doing. What you're going to be doing, though, is tugging him down. Do you see this? It's 7 every time, so count 7. 7 tugs, he falls, you do a level 3 charge, and then you do a level 2 charge. The thing that I'm kind of wary of, though, is when he's doing his fire streaks. And the tells for those, I mentioned before, if I can remember what they are, I think it's something like you will fail and something else, because I don't have any volume on this right now. But what he tends to do is, I'm going to actually point it out when he does it, and you'll see my trepidation when I'm going forward. But even when he's on the ground, you can still latch on to him. But if you take too long, then he'll put the shield back up. So what I do is, you see the fire streaks? And did you see how I went over to him and then dropped and was kind of careful? It's because he loves to do more fire streaks when you land and hit you and deal like 1/4 of your damage off. So what I do is, once I see him do the fire streak, I either jump over to him if I'm close enough, or I latch onto him, and then I hit him like one time and then I drop, because I know, and this happens every time, that the computer is very smart, because I know he's going to do more fire streaks. So you'll actually hear the next taunt that he does, and what you need to do once you're below him is just do a double jump, and you'll see him do the fire streaks onto you, but you'll be having plenty of time to do all your hits in the air. See right now? See? Exactly what I said right there. He did the fire streaks, I went over to him, I baited him by standing on the ground, and he did it again. So tug him down 7 times. And this is just kind of frustrating, because when the fight starts, you deal massive damage to him with the level 3 charge. However, as time goes by, and as he gets like half his life left, even if you're exactly like spot on with the time, and you're hitting him with the level 3 charge shot before he goes back into his shield, you're just not going to be dealing him the damage, and he stays out for the same amount of time. It's just that he starts eating that damage. Did you see that? If you rewind that, compare how much that damage took via the level 3 charge compared to earlier when it took off like several bars. So that's just how it works. And the hardest thing that I have, like the hardest thing for me to personally evade, is his fireballs. So I stay very, like I don't, if he's throwing so many of those, I don't really go in to hit him. I wait until he does his electricity attack or his barrier attack, where he says you will, you know, it's your death sentence, or something like death sentence, like this right here, whatever he says. But keep practicing this guy, and just remember that the goal is to take the shield down with the bayonet, and then tug at him 7 times to bring him down to this phase, and then just keep hitting him. This was really frustrating for me, but it's one of those things where, like, once like you can tell, like when you're playing, you can actually tell, like, damn, I'm getting better. Like it really feels good, and I think that's what this game means to me. It's a means by which you really struggle at first, but with a lot of repeated playings and practice and reading telegraphs and predicting enemy behaviors and analyzing patterns, it starts to be just a joy rather than a curse to play, I think. But this is just a great strategy, because once he's in this, once he's in that animation where he keeps flailing like that, he can't get out of it unless you're not rapidly pressing the B button enough with a tether. So, see, he did it again. If you don't know what I mean, I baited him to do the attack. Okay, so when he does that, you need to just run away, let him do it, and then hook back to him, and then start hitting him more. But just be very careful. You might also want to know, like, when do you throw the devil trigger? I would throw it, like, if you want to dispense with it early on, just throw it during the time when you're shooting him with the gun, when he's exposed down below. That's the good time to do it. But as time progresses too, so too will like with the other moves, like with this charge shot level 3, it's just not going to take very much away from him. So you may want to reserve that for the momentary iframes you get from the use of it, or just to break the shield, especially when he's in DT mode, because as you can see now, his halo is purple and he's more deadly now. He has the same moves, although he will do the Sparta sword occasionally. And it just gets into kind of a stalemate as sometimes later in the fight is coming up, because what's going to happen now is that since he has so much resilience, it's going to be hard to deal any damage to him, even if we do charge shot level 3s. It's just a fact of the matter. And to make matters even more problematic, watch what happens here. We're going to destroy the shield, but instead of dropping for us to attack as much as we want, he does the sword attack. So unless you can interrupt it with this, you're going to have to do the dodges. And okay, so we're going to throw some dynamite his way, and he's not dead yet. So don't be anywhere near that burst when he's regenning his shield, because it's going to damage you. What damages you the most here is the Sparta sword, and the second coming in as a runner-up would be the fire streaks in the ground. It just takes off an incredible amount of damage. So watch this as I break his barrier. We're going to try to drop him, but since he's in DT mode, he's just not going to have any of that for us to take. And the timing here is actually quite suspenseful. It's longer than you think it would be, and he's just not going to drop at this point. Can you use the devil trigger to break the shield? You can, but you'd have to have the devil trigger almost filled up. So, man, this was really. I was raging. I was really raging on this. You don't know how badly I was raging on it, but halfway through those hours that I mentioned, where I had plateaued and I knew I was getting better, and I felt that I was getting better, I calmed down, you know, and I just said, you know, keep sticking with it, Vic, because that's what your viewers would want for you, and isn't that what you would want for your viewers? You know, don't give up, keep going, and show your viewers that with perseverance they can overcome, you know, a boss fight like this, which is tough without items. It's very tough. So I had a blast playing this game. I will be coming back to it for the Nero. You know, I have to, as Nero and Dante, because we've done 2 of the 3 campaigns. Let's just do the other one. But there will be that Sniper Elite V2 guide that intervenes for now, and it will be a good project as well. So I believe you can parry these. You can parry them. You can buster them with Nero. I just didn't want to stretch these hours out anymore. I wanted to wrap this guide up and start my new project. So just be careful if you're going to try to parry that. You might be able to parry it with her bayonet, but you would receive a hell of a lot of damage. Take care, you guys.